All right, so third red day recap in a row. I'm on a red streak. Dug myself a hole, down 9,000 today. I was up 5,000, and then in one trade on AEI, lost. Well, gosh, what was it? 12. Well, I think it was 12 grand. I was green on the stock, so then that put me down 7,000 on the day. Got a recovery, got myself back to flat. Actually got myself to green by like 2,000, then to flat, then to down 100, then down 1,000, then down 2,000, and then now I'm down 9,000. So the problem is we're not seeing follow through in the market. That's the problem. Number one in the overall market. The problem internally is that I'm not responding to the choppiness. I'm continuing to trade through it when the right thing to do is to stop trading entirely and get out of the market. I'm just getting chopped up. Every time I see a setup, I take it, but the same setups that work in a hot market don't work in a cold market. And that's very confusing because you have a pattern, a visual pattern. And so for me, I'm like, oh wow, this is the pattern. But in the moment where I'm getting ready to strike, what I am unable to keep in my mind is, what's the strength of the overall market? What's the strength of the overall market? Is it hot or is it cold? And it's been cold the last 3 days. And so as a result, that setup by default in a cold market will not work as well as in a hot market. In fact, it may not work at all. And so if I get in and then I start sizing up for the bigger move, then I just drops right quick out with a loss. And that's what's happened on basically every trade today. So I struggle with FOMO in my trading. I always have the fear of missing out. I hate taking days off. I don't like just, I could choose to just not come in tomorrow and just say, I've had 3 red days in a row, I just shouldn't trade. Today when I was up 5,000, I was like, okay, I'm getting a little dialed in, one more trade, boom, right into the red. And it was just from there, it was like, man, I'm right back to where I was on Friday, in the red, frustrated. The setup should have worked, it was a good quality setup, and now I'm digging myself out of the hole. So tomorrow, if I get green, what I should do is just stop right there. These 3 days have ruined my month from the perspective of profit loss ratio and accuracy. These last 3 days have been terrible. Really bad accuracy, really bad profit loss ratio. And the thing is, if that keeps happening every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks or every 2 months to 3 months or whatever it is, that I have like a 3-day stretch with just terrible metrics, it just draws down my averages overall. And that unfortunately has been my struggle as a trader basically forever, that I'll have stretches where I'm super hot, super dialed in and trade really well. And then I'll have stretches where I'm just like, can't get anything started. I just keep getting stopped out. And the variable is that the market has these cycles, hot and cold, hot and cold. And I don't do well adapting my strategy to different markets. I keep going full throttle during a cold market. Of course, full throttle during a hot market, I crush it, which is why I'm net positive. I am profitable. Even though I lose money during cold streaks, I'm profitable overall because I make more in the hot streaks, and the hot streaks are longer. But cold streaks are brutal, and I feel so defeated. I'm always so annoyed at myself. Why were you so aggressive? But I have to remind myself that the part of me that's aggressive is the part of me that produced, $900,000 in 1 week during GameStop. That's that same part of me, super aggressive. So yeah, on a day like today, I'm down 9,000. All right, that part of me is aggressive and keeps kind of striking out. I probably could have more conservatively finished today up 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000. Probably not a lot more than that, but of course, if I'd done that the last 3 days, I'd have 3 small green days instead of 3 decent red days. But I have a really hard time turning off that aggressive part of me that trades, all out. So I stepped up to the plate today. I got knocked out, so I'm at 3 strikes, Thursday, Friday, Monday. But tomorrow is a new day. I will be back on the horse as always, and I will look forward to the markets getting better. Although I do have to get to a point where it's like, listen, you can't have this many consecutive red days. You just need to make a change, which would be get green and then walk away after 1 trade. Just take 1 trade. And it either is green and you're done, or it's a red trade and you cut the loss right then and there down like $1,000 or $2,000 and just stop. So at least the red days get really small. So I may have to do that. Now, in 2 weeks, I'm starting a new small account challenge. So this is coming up, which I'm really excited about. I've talked about it for Warrior Pro students. If you want to watch over my shoulder during the small account challenge, you have to be in the chat room. I'm hoping that the markets are better during the small account challenge, but they probably will be, but they may not be. Who knows? It's a July small account challenge, so this is summer trading can be a little choppier. Look at this MOXC, back to 1550. So, this is one where I'm down 9,000 on this stock. If I had not stopped out on both of the trades I took on it, I wouldn't be down 9,000. I'd be in the green. But it could have also probably just as easily gone back down to 13 or 12 or 11, and then I'd be down 40, 50,000. So you gotta cut your losses at some point. That's annoying to see. No one likes to see that. Get stopped out and then it goes that way. But anyway, so small account challenge starting in 2 weeks. It's gonna be interesting. I look forward to you guys being there, watching over my shoulder. I encourage students to be practicing a simulator because in case you didn't already know, trading is risky. Most beginner traders lose money and my results are not typical. So you should practice in a simulator before you put real money on the line. And with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. Enjoy the recap. Third red day recap in a row. So a little bit of a red streak here, but I will bounce back. I always do, always have, and this time won't be any different. And I'll say the same things. I gotta get better at easing off the throttle when markets get cold, but I go pedal to the metal, all out, and when the market's hot, it pays off big time. When the market's cold, I give back some profit, and that's the way I seem to trade. So I've got to have an acceptance about myself about that. It's always been 10 steps forward, X steps back, 10 steps forward, X steps back. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 5, maybe it's 8, maybe it's 1, and then I go on the next hot streak. So I'm still green on the month, so life is good, but I'm actually not looking at my P&L right now where I sit on the month because I don't really need to be focusing on how much I've lost in the last 3 days, because then that creates a negative focus in my mind. I'd rather focus on just trying to trade well and catch nice momentum and have good entries, and the profits will follow, and recouping the losses inevitably will follow. So I'm trying to focus on the cup half full. It's been a good month. I'm green. We still have, almost 2 weeks left in the month. So let's see, we've got, this week, not quite 2 weeks, but 10 days, 8 days left in the month, whatever it is, 2, 4, 6, 7. So that's fine. We'll try to finish the month strong, and being down 9,000. I mean, last week was basically a break-even week, I think. I made some good money, then gave it back. This week I'm starting a little in the red, continuation of the choppiness from last week, but one good trade, $25,000, $35,000, I'm back in great shape. So I have to not get too bent out of shape. The frustration is less about the money and more about just the feeling of like, man, can't believe I've had 3 red days in a row. Like, I'm really not dialed in. This is annoying. And then seeing something like this MOXC, up at 16, and look at me. I'm the guy who's got in high, stopped out once, got in high a second time, stopped out, and then it goes. So you're getting some follow through there, but whatever. All right, enjoy the recap. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. What's up, everyone? All right, so third red day in a row here, down in my main account and my retirement. Basically started the day with about $4,000 or $5,000 of profit, and then on AIE I lost $11,000, and that put me red on the day by 7,500. And from that point, I tried to recover, and I just wasn't able to do it. And the trade that put me red was this trade right here. I bought the dip off the VWAP, and I got stopped out as it broke and sold off. I stopped out around 695, so I got a little slippage on my exit. It's amazing how sometimes it feels like night and day difference in trading between trading in a hot market versus trading in a cooler market. Trading in a hot market, these setups work. You get resolution. They break back through the high. That's very confusing because you're essentially doing the same exact thing, except in a hot market it works and you have resolution, therefore profit. And in a cold market you see false breakouts. And so that's where you have to keep reminding yourself not to fall into the trap of buying a good quality setup in a poor market, because when the market quality is not good, the follow through is not there. And so that right there put me down 7,000 on the day. I switched from there to my retirement account where I made 8,000, actually almost 10,000 on ALF. And that was on this squeeze right here, this red to green move, break a VWAP and this rip from 8 up to 9. But I gave back $2,000 of the profit. So I went from up about 10,000 to up 8,700. And then I took losses on MOXC and AEI. And my last loss on MOXC, was right here. I missed this squeeze, but bought the pullback here at 15 and then just had to stop out. We just didn't get that follow through. AEI, I tried this one around this area here. We got a win, a small win, but then got back in and it flushes. Same thing here. I tried to get in at 7, break a VWAP, and it just chops me out. TRCH, basically same thing. I got in this for the break of VWAP right here, and then it drops right back down. I mean, it's obviously holding a little bit better right now, but we're just in a super choppy market right now where we're not seeing a lot of follow through. It's going to be interesting because in 2 weeks I start my small account challenge, and doing a small account challenge in a choppy market is hard because you don't have as much confidence. The setups that typically work really well in a hot market, in a cold market, don't respond as well. So unfortunately, it just ends up meaning you've got to trade less. And so I'm, that's part of the reality of trading, the ebb and the flow. And we've seen quite a lot of stocks recently where they get choppy and then they go, which is really frustrating because your timing on your entry is the problem. You have the right idea, but your entry was wrong. And look at this here on MOXC. This right now is squeezing back up. So I just took a good loss on it as it stopped me out down here at 60, 20 cents off the low, and then there it curls back up. I would have been back to break even there. I would have been green. But at a certain point, you've got to cut your losses. I took a trade on AMC yesterday and I lost on it. And someone said, well, why don't you just hold it? Why don't you just swing trade it? If I was still holding AMC today from a position from yesterday, I would have been down $90,000. I can't just hold it. I mean, yes, there are times where holding it works, but generally, more often than not, it does not work. So, you have a set of rules and sometimes you feel like, man, I keep getting stopped out, but that overall for me is the right approach. So, I'm not at my max loss in this account. Could I keep trading? Yeah, I could. But I went from down 7,000 on the day back to up 2,000 on the day, and then slowly went back to down 7,000 and then now down 9,000. So it's like, what? I'm trading later and later in the day. I'm getting desperate. I'm trying to find some momentum. It's not happening. And while I could hit a Hail Mary pass and make $10,000 this afternoon on a trade, that could have happened yesterday on ALF towards the close. It had a nice squeeze. But what could also happen is I just keep getting chopped up more and more and more and more. And then next thing you know, I'm down 15, then I'm down 20, and I'm just digging the hole deeper. So, I don't know. This is just part of the deal with trading. And there's people out there who will say, oh man, I don't even know why you complain. You're up over $2 million on the year. Why? So you have a couple days where you can't trade or where you lose a little bit of money. Big deal. I know, but when you're here in it, every day feels like you're only as good as your last trade. And when you start catching like consecutive back-to-back losses, it starts getting really frustrating, and you feel like you're just not dialed in. And so part of the thrill of trading is the gratification that comes from having winners. So you get a period of days or even weeks where you're not getting that. You start to feel, bummed out. You're frustrated. It's not, things aren't working the way you would expect, and losses are also a factor. And then eventually it turns around. So when it turns around, I can pretty much guarantee you that trades like the breakout on TRCH or this pullback on MOXC, those get bought up and they keep going. And so the same exact setup works. And the variable here is what's the condition of the overall market. Trade the market you're in. And I've never been good at that. I really haven't ever been good at that. I've always kind of just pedal to the metal no matter what. And that's why I often, in cold markets, rather than just go sideways, I lose money. And then when the market heats back up, I make back what I lost, and then I build profit. Maybe there will be a day at some point in my career where I'll have the presence of mind to be like, feels like the market's cold. I'm not even going to watch it today. But I don't find myself in a position right now where I'm able to do that. And then for instance, tomorrow I could say, you know what? The market was cold yesterday and the day before. I'm not even going to come in tomorrow. What's the point? Well, watch that be the day that we have big momentum. And I think that's the fear that every trader has, which is why you keep coming back day after day after day, because you never know. You never know when the switch is going to flip and all of a sudden we have hot momentum. I could take the rest of the week off and then in hindsight be like, wow, I'm really glad I did it. Or I could do it and then in hindsight we have 4 of the biggest momentum stocks of the year and I wasn't here. So that's a component of trading that's really hard to get a good handle on. Am I choosing to trade today because of FOMO, the fear of missing out? And often for me, the answer is yes. That's the way I am, and that's the way I'm hardwired. It's a tough thing to break out of, no matter how much I try. I really do struggle with it. So anyways, that's where I'm at for today. So a third red day recap, but today's a smaller red day, and I'm glad for that. But I just don't see anything worth trading. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I'll sit down and something will look good, and I'll get some nice trades. And certainly we know when the market's hot, and if we do have some hot momentum, I can rack up those profits pretty quickly. But if it's not, what do I do? Just shut it down at 9 a.m. and then sit around wondering what's happening in the market all morning? It's that's what I can't. I'm just then I feel like I'm losing both. I'm definitely losing. That's how I feel. If I'm missing, then I'm also losing. So it's a struggle. But anyways, that's it for me. So I'll let you guys go. I hope you enjoy the recap. Trading is difficult. My results are not typical. Most beginner traders lose money, and in a choppy market, traders get smoked, especially long bias traders like me. But anyway, so that's it for me. I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning, hoping for better markets.
And that right there was an entire video with no ads. I don't monetize my YouTube channel with video ads, which means you guys get to enjoy the content. But do me a favor, please hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up and let YouTube know that this channel is the channel to watch if you want to learn about day trading.